Okay, we are in the second class, in Perek Chav Zayin, chapter 27. We are dealing with the topic of happiness and depression. The Alter Rebbe sent us a bomb last time, and he said that a person could be looking at themselves and they're seeing that I am not making any progress with my life. I'm not getting any better. I'm the same as I was yesterday, the same as I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it is. What am I even doing here? Like, I'm not accomplishing anything. A person can get very depressed over that. So the Alter Rebbe told us that in fact is not the way to look at life. That really, the way to look at things is from a completely different angle. What's the angle we should be looking at it? From the point of view of the Torah mitzvah. The mitzvah says, Lo sasuru acharei lebavham acharei einechem. Don't follow after your eyes, after your heart, which is leading you astray. This is referring to regular people. This is referring to regular people, that these regular people, namely us, that we are having all different types of bad thoughts come into our heads and desires come into us, and the objective is to control ourselves. That's the objective. That is a mitzvah. And like we finished up the class last week by saying, that is as much of a mitzvah as putting on tefillin in the morning, shaking a lulav, or doing any other positive commandment. It's just that this is a negative commandment. And from that perspective, this is a mitzvah. That's it. And so instead of being depressed over the fact that how come this is happening to me? Why am I still getting the same nonsense, the same garbage that's coming into my mind? I should be excited by the fact that I have the opportunity to do a mitzvah. That's the point that he's bringing out. Okay? And in particular, when we recognize that this commandment was not given to tzaddikim. Tzaddikim don't have these issues. I have these issues. You have these issues. Normal people have these issues. That's who to focus on. Okay? So we're on the top of page Lamed Daled. And he says like this, V'adrab, the opposite, the first line, the last word in the first line. Adrab, the opposite is true. Ha'atzvus hi migasas haruach. Where is the depression coming from? So really the depression is coming from my arrogance, from my haughtiness. She'eino meikir mekoimo, that he does not recognize his place. Valkain yira levavo al she'einu b'madregas sadik. And therefore, what's happening? What's happening is that he gets upset, he gets depressed, he gets annoyed. But what is the expectation? The expectation is wrong. That's what the issue is. In other words, if I were to get out there and throw a football today, and I'd say, wait a minute, come on, I'm all depressed that I can't throw 60, 70 yards and, play in the NFL. I mean, come on. Is that a realistic expectation for me? No, not at all. So why am I getting depressed? In other words, I'm focusing on totally the wrong thing. I'm getting depressed about a totally inappropriate and unrealistic goal. I thought that I should be getting rid of all these negative thoughts that are in my head. I thought that I should never be pulled in any direction except for in the Torah direction. It's not realistic. That's not who I am. That's not how Hashem made me. That's the key point. Hashem made me as a normal human being. And a normal human being has all different thoughts that pop up into his head, all different desires that he has to control. Everyone has it. I just have to control it. That's my job. I can say to myself, well, why do I have this? Because that's how God made me. And God made all of us the same way, in that manner. Each one with his own desires and each one with his own tribulations that he has to work towards to controlling. And that's how it is. So why am I depressed? Because I have an inappropriate expectation from myself. That's where my depression lies. I expected myself to be what? To be the level of a tzaddik? That's so unrealistic. And therefore, I'm getting depressed about the wrong things. So it's, in fact, more out of my own arrogance than anything else. And that's what he says. The opposite is true. The depression, it's from the arrogance. He doesn't realize who he is. Realize where his place is. And therefore he gets all upset over the fact that he's not on the level of a tzaddik. Because tzaddikim, for sure, they don't have these nonsense ideas popping up into their head like this shtus, as he calls it, this garbage. That doesn't happen to them. Because if I would just recognize who I am, and what are my goals and what are the expectations of me, that he is very far away from being on the level of a tzaddik. That's not the goal for me, as we said earlier in the book. The goal is to be a beinoni. The goal is not to be a tzaddik. A tzaddik is a different game. When you're playing basketball, the objective is not to hit a home run. It's the wrong goal. You're playing two different games. A tzaddik has one game to play, a beinoni has another game, as we're going to see throughout this chapter. He's going to contrast the two. But it's a different game. We think it looks the same because it has the same broad directives, right? A tzaddik does mitzvahs, we do mitzvahs. But everything, all the gray part of it is totally different between a tzaddik and a regular person. So if I only would recognize that I am very far away from this level of being a tzaddik that is never going to have any desires and never going to have any negative ideas popping up into my mind and any of this nonsense, I'm not going to be like that. Right? Below Rasha, Kol Yamav. And halavai I should be a beinoni and not a Rasha all the days of my life. This is actually an interesting word because in Farbrengens, it's sort of used out of context and used in a different way. The way it's used in a Farbrengen is halavai a beinoni, But that's not really what he's saying here. What he's saying is halavai should just be a beinoni and not a Rasha all the days of my life, right? I shouldn't be a Rasha all the days of my life. Now, afilu sha'a achas, right? Afilu sha'a achas. Harizois hi midas abeinim. This is the avoda of the beinoni. This is the game. We're not playing baseball. We're playing basketball. It's a different game. That's the point. So therefore, in order to play this game, you have to know what the rules are. And that's really how we started off the whole Tanya. The whole book essentially was started by the Alter Rebbe, and he's saying, wait a minute. This whole avoda that we're talking about here, you have to know the dimensions of the goal you're shooting at. Most people are thinking that along the lines of what a tzaddik should be feeling. And that is a totally inappropriate expectation and goal. And therefore, it's causing people to be depressed. This is exactly what we're talking about in this chapter. Here I am, my whole life, right? I'm sitting here and I'm working on myself and I'm still getting the same nonsense falling into my head. I have the same desires, the same, I want this and come on, didn't I get anywhere? And the answer is you're looking at it wrong. I'm looking at it wrong. The avoda of the beinoni is to try to keep on winning in three areas: machshava, dibur, and ma'isa. Those are the three areas that I have to keep on winning in. And in order to hit the ball, if you're playing baseball, you have to keep on getting pitches. And if you're not going to get a pitch, you can't hit a home run. You can't hit a single. You can't hit anything. So every time the Yetzer Hara throws an idea at me, I want to do this. And you know it's the wrong thing to do. So you take the bat and you hit it out of the park. You say, no, I'm not going to do that. Oh, I don't want to do this. You know it's the right thing to do. So again, take the bat and you hit it and you knock it out of the park. And you say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to learn my Rambam. I'm going to learn my Chitas. I'm going to go to Seder on time. I'm going to act like a mensch. Right? These are the things that are constantly being thrown. We keep on getting pitches, pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch, all day long. That's what's happening to us. And we have to keep on hitting the ball. Right? But if I don't have those pitches, then I can't hit the ball. That's what he's saying here. And that's what he says is, right? This is the midah of the Beinani. To conquer the Yetzer. And when a thought pops up from my heart to my brain, in other words, some sort of negative thought pops up, whether it's a desire for something or just feeling negativity or whatever it is that I know is inappropriate, and I have to totally take my mind away from that thought. I have to be in control of myself. This is the hardest thing to do in life. That's why, in my opinion, the Beinani is the ultimate Superman. This is the hardest thing to do, to be Superman. To be in control of yourself 24/7. 7 days a week, 52 weeks a year. That is the hardest thing to do. Because usually it's my Nefesh Bahamis which is in control. It's swinging me this way, swinging me that way, right? I get all upset about this, and I get depressed about that, and I get angry about this, and I get jealous about that, and I have a taiva about this, and and he just keeps on going. And that's day after day after day. And all of a sudden, Alter Rebbe comes along and says, no, I have to be the one that's setting the agenda. I have to be the one in control. I have to be the one that's deciding what is my life going to look like. That's the avodah of the Beinani. Not to take away the pitches. Taking away the pitches, that's up to God. That's not my business. But each one of those pitches is an opportunity to hit a home run. So instead of running away and saying, why do I have these pitches? Why do I have these desires and these feelings of jealousy and these feelings of anger and these feelings of, fill in the blank, right? Adarabba, that's where my avoda is. That's why I'm here. And he's going to say a little bit later on in the page, even if you're doing the same thing again and again and again every single day, perhaps that's why you were created in this world. In order to mamish, to win again and again and again and again, the same point. Because the objective in being alive in this world is to bring godly light into the world, to make the world a better place. And every time that I conquer myself, that is making the world a better place. It's on the micro level, but it's impacting the macro world. That's what's happening here. And that's what I have to know when I wake up in the morning, all the way straight through the day until I go to sleep at night. And every point of the day is another opportunity to do that. And you see, throughout the day, we're constantly being, challenged again and again. I don't know anyone that isn't, at least, But everyone's being challenged with all different things that pop up in their lives from the inside and from the outside. It's just the way it is. And that's why Hashem wants me to be alive. Hashem wants me to rise up to the occasion, to face these challenges, and to win again and again and again. And that's what he says here. And the thought that pops up from his heart, to his brain, in order to take his mind away completely from it. And to push it away, and to push it away with the two hands, like we said earlier in Tanya, right? Some people want to say that pushing away with two hands is you picture the Rebbe in your mind and I'm going like this. That's for Brengen. I don't think that's for Tanya, but it's something to think of, right? In other words, you push it away. You don't get involved with it. You don't dive into it. You don't get into the nitty-gritty of it. That's the point that we're talking about here. And each time you push it away, so that you push it away from your mind, we bend the sitra acher down here, and therefore this arousal from below causes a subsequent arousal from above. In other words, when a teacher sees the student trying really hard, then the teacher wants to give to the student even more. When a parent sees a child that he's trying so hard, the parent wants to give and give and give and give and give. And that's what happens here as well. When we work on ourselves so hard, Hashem sees that we are trying our best. We're going beyond ourselves. We're trying to beat our Yetzer Haras. So that's what he says, this idea that when we bend the sitra acher down here, it causes that from above also that he's going to bend the negativity upstairs as well. Like it says in the Zayar, Begodol nachas ruach lefanav yisbarach chad iskafya sitra achar. How great is the pleasure by Hashem when a person bends the sitra achar down here, istalek yikara de kuchabrichu, it goes up, the glory of Hashem le'ela above, al kula, on everything, yasir mishabche achra, ve'istalkus da yasir mikulam. So he says like this is the greatest way to bring Hashem into the world. It lifts up everything. It's greater than anything else you could do. When you have a desire to do something and you don't do that wrong thing, or if you desire not to do the right thing and you do the right thing, whatever you're bending yourself in any way, going beyond your comfort zone, that causes the glory of Hashem to go up in all the worlds in a way that is beyond anything else in existence. So this is our opportunity. When we say that when he throws a pitch, we could hit a home run with it, this is the ultimate home run. And if I look, instead of saying to myself, I can't believe it, I have this negative thought again, every day, the same thing, and again I feel jealous, and again I feel angry, and again I feel this, and again and woe is me, I'm such a low life, and I'm like, and you get all upset about it. Adrabah. It's the point that the Alter Rebbe is saying here is that in each moment that I have these negative thoughts, in each moment that I have these negative desires, and I control myself, that is the ultimate experience in being alive. That's the greatest thing I could do while I'm in this world, is changing, controlling, really, really working on myself. By doing that, I'm accomplishing the most that could be happening in this world, which is to bring out the glory of Hashem in all the worlds. That's why I'm here. That's my job. Dira b'tachtoinim, in the ultimate, extreme manner. It's clear? Okay, let's stop here and we'll continue hopefully tomorrow. We'll see what we can do. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you.